So Donald Trump spent $100 million in taxpayer dollars for a parade for himself, and nobody showed. Nobody showed up to Donald Trump's military parade. He was expecting 200,000 people. 200,000 people didn't show up. 20,000 people didn't show up. 2,000 people didn't show up. He might have had a few hundred people at best show up to his little parade. I know Donald Trump is fuming right now because he's got an issue with crowd size. And when I tell you, it was so embarrassing to watch. It's bad when there are more people in your parade than those who came to see your parade. I'm just saying. I guess Donald Trump likes being embarrassed. Didn't he learn from his presidential rallies? Didn't he learn from the inauguration? This is what happens when you steal an election. When you have events, the people who show up represent the number of people who actually voted for you. I'm just saying. This is what happens when you get, your little boy toy, Elon Musk, to help you rig an election. You have events, and because you, quote unquote, won the election, you trick yourself into thinking that all of these people really like you and support you. Well, guess what? Donald Trump learned the truth today. Nobody likes you. Okay? Even the MAGA nuts are getting sick and tired of your ass. I'm just saying. This parade was a no-go. It was a waste of time and a waste of our money. And I'm just saying, I want a refund. Like, can I get a refund? Is that even possible? Anyway, let's talk about this parade because it was a crowd size nightmare. Donald Trump is going to be forever haunted by this military parade. His birthday is never going to be the same again. You know why? Because June 14th will go down in history as No Kings National Day of Defiance. We said no kings, and we meant that shit. I'm just saying. Anyway, so past events have basically proven that Donald Trump's ego cannot handle small crowd sizes. And so I fully expect he had a whole shit fit behind the scenes about the number of people who didn't show up. Nobody showed up to Donald Trump's little party. Attendance was horrible. I cannot believe he actually thought that 200,000 people were going to show up, even if it wasn't raining. Donald Trump should be glad that the weather wasn't good because at least he can use that as an excuse because we already know he's going to come with an excuse. He's going to blame it on Biden. Okay, Biden is fighting cancer right now, but it's Biden's fault. Somehow it'll be Obama or Hillary Clinton's fault, okay, because I think she was there. And if it's not that, he's going to talk about the huge numbers, okay, and how he had millions of people at his rally when clearly he didn't even clear 1,000. Because you know where everybody was? Everybody was at the No Kings rallies. Over 2,000 protests were organized in cities across this country and millions, plural, millions of people turned up to these rallies. As a matter of fact, if Donald Trump wants to know whether or not he does have the support of the people, all he has to do is read the news about what happened at Mar-a-Lago. Well, you don't have to read the news about what happened at Mar-a-Lago because I'm going to tell you. So what had happened was there was a rally. There was a No Kings march in front of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort that resulted in a mass of protesters who were at odds with the president, but only a handful of MAGA supporters. MAGA didn't show up. They didn't show up for his parade, and they didn't show up at Mar-a-Lago. According to a report from the Washington Post, there was a huge turnout in West Palm Beach for the nationwide No Kings mobilization against the president, with over 2,000 marches planned across the country. Now, despite weeks of notice, I said weeks, supporters of the president, they were no-shows. They did not show up outside the resort that Donald Trump and his family call home. But you know who did show up? The No King ralliers, No Kings protesters. We said no kings, and we meant no kings. One protester by the name of Gabriel Renfro expressed dismay at the lack of pro-Trump protesters. He said, "I'm kind of surprised I'm the only one here. I came because I love President Trump and I want to show my support." He admitted that he drove 80 miles, over 80 miles, and nobody showed up. He did say that it was peaceful. He was happy about that. He said that, that's what America's all about. But as a side note, another Trump supporter, asked a police officer whether he could engage with the protesters, and he was told he could yell at them if he wanted. Well, when the man immediately began shouting expletives, that officer warned him not to try to incite an incident, and he quietly scurried away. You see how they instigate? It's the MAGA nuts. And then they would blame us, or they would talk about, there were issues on both sides. No, it's not both sides, because nobody showed up for Donald Trump. Everybody was at the No Kings rallies. And funny thing is, they're not letting Donald Trump off the hook. That's Donald Trump's birthday present. He gets clowned on his birthday. He gets the crowd size or the lack thereof rubbed in his face. I love it. The memes are absolutely hilarious. And so that's what you missed. Nobody showed up for the Don. And the Don is in the dumps because his little party didn't work out. Because he thought he was going to be the belle of the ball. Really? You really thought 200,000 people? Really thought 200,000 people were going to show up to your little parade with your little tanks and your little marching men? How about, instead of $100 million parades, how about you find some money for SNAP benefits? How about you help us with Medicaid? Because there's money for your parade, but there's no money for food. There's money for your parade, but there's no money for Medicaid. There's money for your parade, but there's no money for Head Start and education. Yeah, okay. I got another idea. How about you draft up some official orders for those National Guardsmen that you deployed to Los Angeles? How about you pay them? How about that? How about you write them a check? And write those official orders so that they can get their health care. How about that? Because I'm going to tell you, planning this parades are not for you. Rallies are not for you. Not anymore. Not anymore. This is so embarrassing. It was his birthday. And little Donald was standing up there in the little stands behind the stage, behind the bulletproof glass, just kind of sitting there, rocking back and forth, just kind of looking around, wondering who's going to show up. He looked like he was counting. Donald, I have bad news for you. If you can count the number of people who showed up at your event, you got a problem. Houston, you got a problem. A big problem. So next time you want to waste taxpayer dollars on some silly parade that's supposed to commemorate the anniversary or the birthday of the U.S. Army, maybe next time just let it be that. Do your birthday somewhere else. Maybe Donald Trump should have thrown a dinner and he could have sold some more of his $5 million citizenship cards or whatever the hell it is. That's another story for another time. This man is literally selling citizenship for $5 million and pocketing the money. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.